Hello anime fans, and today I'm going to talk about an anime called Black Clover. Black Clover is an anime that takes place in a world full of magic. Well, everyone knows magic. And at the age of 15, you are given a grimoire, which is a magical book that gives you your own special magical abilities that no one else has. Now that I've explained the unique premise of Black Clover, time to go into the less unique properties. In other words, pretty much everything else. For starters, I basically felt like I was watching Naruto again with the start of this series. We are given the protagonist Asta, who basically feels like he's Naruto, repurposed, with a little bit of Edward Elric mixed in from Fullmetal Alchemist, mostly in his design, his facial expressions, and his height complex. But aside from that, I basically felt like I was watching Naruto both from a character perspective and from how the story was turning out. Asta is a character who's been striving to become the Wizard King or Mage King or whatever this show called, the Hokage. And he is looked down upon by everyone. He was, I want to say born an orphan, but technically that's impossible. He can't be born an orphan. But he was raised an orphan, that's the word. But he is the only person at his age who doesn't have any magic. And he's been waiting to get his grimoire so that he can learn magic, so that he can train himself better to become the Mage King that he wants to be. And that doesn't happen at first, but it turns out it does happen by the end of the episode. And it looks like he's going to be possessed by a demon. Once again, another similarity to Naruto. But, like, his entire character profile, and even just a good setup of his story of the world, just feels like it was ripped directly from Naruto. Like, I feel like it's more of a knockoff of Naruto than Boruto is. And they literally stole the name of Naruto for that series. And it's the same universe, so, like, that's pretty bad. We've also got this universe's Sasuke named Yuno, who is another edgy rival to our protagonist. Admittedly, he's not as emo as Sasuke always was, and he actually accepts Asta as his rival. He seems to see him as a friend, despite the fact that you won't call him that, which once again is a step above Sasuke in that respect. So at least he's a little unique, despite very much taking influences from every other shonen anime ever. But there's just not much unique premise drawing me into the show. And even worse than the premise, honestly, was the exposition for me. I didn't really care for how they tried to introduce you to the world. They kept, instead of doing show don't tell, they kept literally having characters be surprised by moments or like, oh, that's the such and such, you know, of course we know what that is because we have to, because it's commonplace here and we need to tell you. And like, it just didn't feel like a lot of it was executed well, if I'm being honest. We're also basically told that all grimoires have their own powers. We're introduced to our first antagonist, who has chain magic, which they actually use CGI. Using CGI in a Shonen Jump anime was the most unique thing that happened here. I know that a lot of people don't like CGI, but I thought the use here was pretty fine. Since it was only for his chains, it didn't seem to overstay its welcome, and using CGI to represent magic, I think would be pretty cool in a lot of places, but it depends on how they use it moving forward. Aside from that, there's basically nothing that this show has going for it yet. Like, its production quality isn't great. Oh yeah, and there's also the main character's voice, which I know that a lot of people will be ripping their ears off as they hear it. Honestly, like, he seems to roll a lot of his words, like the double R in Spanish, it reminded me, even though it's probably not close to that. But honestly, I thought it was kind of interesting way of speaking. He, like, even does it, like, in normal speech, not just whenever he's yelling, which you would think, by the way he was talking, that he was always yelling when saying it. But, like, I know that a lot of people are gonna hate it, but I at least think it's a unique way for him to talk. And I don't think it'll bother me as much as it will a lot of other people, but it will bother people, I'm sure. But yeah, like, random voice dialogue and CGI chains is not much to go off of being unique. So I'm really hoping that the show differentiates itself moving forward. I will continue the show. I don't quit shows easily. If I start them, I pretty much always finish them. But I'm really hoping the show has more to show for itself. And it's a Shonen Jump anime. Usually they don't stay one note for all that long. Or like, they usually differentiate themselves pretty fast from one another. Even though they don't start out that different. So hopefully it'll get better. We'll see. I'm not entirely certain it will. It didn't have a good start, I don't think. But it wasn't terrible either. So, hope it gets better. And I hope you have a good day. Peace.